So, all right, guys, we're doing a goal setting workshop here. Um, a little bit of background information so you guys know who I am and you're familiar with my education and my experience so that you guys have some credibility and understand why you should be listening to me. So, my name is Austin Santee. I am currently a PhD candidate for organizational psychology, which is just a fancy name for business psychology. I got into psychology after having spent about 10 years in the fitness space, helping people with their physical health and well-being. I trained, hundreds of clients, and I realized that a lot of people had what was called the arrival fallacy. They thought that as soon as they got the six pack or they got the body that they were hoping for, the dream body, the beach body, then they were going to feel better about themselves, that they would be happy with themselves. And in reality, almost every single time, what happened was those people would get those results and then they would still be unhappy with themselves because they were so focused on the end result, they were never focused on looking on the inside. And so what I realized is that it's not necessarily our body or our external image that matters, it's our internal self-image that matters. So I went on this route of, getting my MBA, my master's in business, starting my own training business. And then I went on my own self-development journey, reading hundreds of books at this point on self-improvement and psychology and spirituality and productivity, and stumbled upon a lot of really great resources to help other people not only better themselves physically, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So I'm going to go ahead and give all of those best practices to you guys today. I created a Google Doc worksheet that I'm going to go ahead and share in the chat so that anybody wants to follow along with that can go ahead and grab the Google Doc worksheet. So the goal here is that technical skills are not the greatest. The goal here is that we understand the necessity for setting good goals, and then we go ahead and actually put these things onto our calendar so that we know what it is that we're constantly working towards and why we're working towards it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And this workshop is going to be broken into 3 parts for simplicity. Bring up the Google Doc. All right. So the 3 parts we're going to talk about today are reflection. We're going to go ahead and reflect on our 2023. We're going to find out what we did well, what needs improvement, where we kind of were on top of things, and where we dropped the ball. It's a psychologically sound life is one that is well reflected. So we're going to go ahead and reflect on these things, and we're going to make sure that the things that we're doing are in congruence with who we say we want to be. So our actions speak so much louder than our words do. And it's very important for us to make sure that we are actually doing what we say we want to do. If we're living a life that's incongruent with what we say, then we're living a life out of alignment with our authentic selves, out of alignment with our value systems, and we're not going to be happy with ourselves. So why does all of this matter? Harvard did a study, I believe it was in the 80s, and what they found was that of all of the students that went through their MBA program, only about 3% of them wrote down their goals and had vivid goals and plans, but 13% of them had goals but never really actually wrote them down, and then 84% of them have no goals at all. And so what they realize is after 10 years, the 3% that had the written goals achieved more, earning 10 times as much as everybody else in the study combined. So there's a significant aspect of building wealth and success by actually setting really great goals and then sticking with them. And then, so that's why it's important to set goals. And once we understand the importance and significance of setting really good goals, then you want to look at your future vision. Hey, what do I want to do for 2024? What do I want to accomplish? And why is that important? Well, if you want to be successful, if you want to change the current life that you're living, then you have to do something different, right? So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And so, when it comes to true productivity, it requires aim, orientation, responsibility, and discipline. So this part is really giving you the aim and the responsibility. And then the third part is going to be giving you best practices for actually setting and accomplishing these goals. So these best practices have been taken over time from things like Atomic Habits, from Brian Tracy, who talks a lot about eating the frog, doing the hardest part of your day first, and then other practices such as time blocking and actually putting things into your schedule to ensure that you actually take action on the things you're supposed to be doing. So following along with the Google Doc here, which I'm sharing in the Zoom chat. And if you guys want to DM me, I can go ahead and send you guys a link to that mini goal setting workshop. So we're going to reflect on key insights from 2023. And this doesn't work unless you want to do the work. So the goal is to create a life that you don't ever feel the need to run from or escape from, one that you're proud of, one you can like wake up and be excited to seize the moment. So when you reflect on these key events, it's important to think about quantity, not quality. I want you just to kind of get into your subconscious brain and reflect on all the things that come up for you, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of the things that you took action on, all of the things that you failed to take action on, the things that you wanted to accomplish but weren't able to, because those are going to give you insights into what you need to change in order to show up better for your future self, in order to grow into the person you need to become, in order to have the life that you want to live, the one that makes you excited to wake up every day. So I've written down some questions here so that you guys can reflect on your own. I've already done some of that, so I will share some of my goals with you guys to make you understand what a good goal looks like. The first thing we're going to talk about is celebrating milestones, right? We're going to identify 3 to 5 defining events or achievements of 2023, reflect on their impact, and reflect on your personal growth that has come from those milestones. Then we're going to talk about your moments of gratitude. Go ahead and just create a list of all the moments you were grateful for, all the things that made you feel better about yourself, all of the people, the experiences, the opportunities that have enriched your life in a meaningful way. Those are things that you need to continue to do more of, because those are what bring you meaning in your life. Next, we're going to talk about overcoming challenges. Go ahead and write down all the major hurdles you faced in 2023. How did you navigate these challenges? What wisdom did they impart? Right? So, I do positive intelligence coaching, which is basically a blend of positive psychology and emotional intelligence. And what I do is I teach people the tools to overcome these challenges in a much faster way. So, I don't teach people how to get rid of challenges. I teach them to embrace challenges, to look at the lesson, and then to be able to overcome them faster and to bounce back from them faster so that they don't keep you sidelined for too long and you can work through it much faster than you normally would have. Because the tool is just a bridge to get you from where you are to where you're trying to go in a faster way. Next, we're going to look at your unfulfilled goals. So what were the things that you did in 2023 that were unmet needs that you weren't able to accomplish? There's a lot of power in looking at the things that you wish you had done, because you don't want to look back and regret that you didn't do all of the things that you wanted to do. So, now is the best time. Now is the best time to fix the next 10 years of your life. If you don't start taking action now, then you're going to continue to wake up and live this Groundhog Day, live this kind of mindless zombie. Lastly, we're going to look at relationships, reflect on the evolution of your relationships, what new connections and what meaningful relationships were you able to build that significantly influenced you. So it could be, romantically, it could be friendship-wise, it could be family, it could be professionally, even just something as simple as a gym partner is a really important, significant relationship to think about. And lastly, we're going to talk about your professional or academic achievements. I'm currently in my PhD program, and so for me to look back and to basically, see all that I've been able to accomplish over the last, 15 years of my academic career has been incredible, but also professionally, like understanding, hey, 5 years ago, you would have been so proud of who you have become today. So, we tend to underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years, but overestimate what we can accomplish in 3 to 6 months. So that's something that's super important to keep in mind as you set these goals is be realistic, but also shoot for the stars. Like this is your life to live and to create. And just because life dealt you cards doesn't mean that you have to play them that way. You get to choose how you play those cards, and you can create the life that you want no matter where you are right now. If you guys are familiar with me and my backstory, I overcame homelessness and extreme poverty as a kid growing up. My dad was a single father of two. So for me to be where I am today is, quite an accomplishment. And I firmly believe that if I can do it, then almost anybody who is fully capable can do it as well. And sometimes you just need a little bit of help. You need some humility to know that you don't know everything you need to know, and to be able to ask for that help, have the courage and the vulnerability to ask for help when you need it. All right. So hopefully you guys have reflected on those things. Next, we're going to look at our vision for 2024. So this is starting part 2 of the workshop. First, we reflected on 2023. We discovered what the pain points were, what the highlights were, and what we want to do is go back and look at those, view patterns. What things stood out to you that you would like to do more of in 2024, and what things stood out to you that you would like to get rid of in 2024. Both of those things are really important because you want to do more of the things you want to do and do less of the things you don't want to do. And that is a key part of growth, right? So there's 2 pieces of growth. The first is you need to be aware and recognize the patterns, whether they're positive or negative. And then second, when you recognize that pattern, choosing a different approach is growth. So bringing awareness to the pattern is the first step. And then the second step is now choosing a different reaction, choosing to respond differently. And that is true growth. And it's that simple and that difficult because you need to reinforce that habit by choosing that option over and over and over again. All right. So first question here, we're going to discover our true north, right? We need to understand where our North Star is. We need to know, hey, if you don't have any idea of where you're going, you're not going to be able to get there. So the probability of you just stumbling into whatever it is that you're supposed to do with your life, your purpose, is very low. So you need to have an idea of where you're going. If you're trying to go to the moon and you're picking up pieces to build a boat, then you're never going to get to the moon. You need to accumulate and get all of the pieces necessary to build a rocket ship so that you can go to the moon. It's the same thing with life. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to kind of spin around and flounder until you one day, hopefully, have the motivation or the decision to actually change and do something about it. But more often than not, what happens is people end up living the same day over and over again until it's too late to actually do something about it. When in reality, there is never a too late. Whether you're 18 or you're 80, you can do something right now to change the trajectory of the rest of your life. All right, so imagine your ideal Tuesday, right? Like just a regular day of the week. This is your perfect day. Ordinary Tuesday, describe your activities, describe what you're doing, describe who you're with and what brings joy to this day. One of my favorite things to say is that my definition of success is to enjoy the passing of time. So as long as you're enjoying the passage of time, then you are living a holistically successful life. And, ultimately for me, I want to constantly and consistently surround myself with the people that I love. Next, we're going to go ahead and look at our fearless dream exploration. If failure was not an option, if it were impossible to fail, what would you want to accomplish? What would you want to achieve? Think big here because this is your life. And if you adopt a growth mindset, then basically anything that is humanly possible is possible for you to do as well. It's just a matter of taking the time to discover what it is you want to do and then putting in the time necessary to get there. So it's knowing what you want and then doing whatever it takes, whatever within your power to actually get there. So I want you guys to dream big here because you might as well. This is your life. You're the only person that gets to write your script. So go ahead and go do some main character shit. Next, we're going to talk about embracing challenges, right? So from a stoicism perspective, challenges are just opportunities for growth, right? Like you want to be able to control what you can control. And what would you pursue even if success wasn't guaranteed, right? Like chase after something that's actually meaningful to you. Leave no stone left unturned because when you look back on your life, the things that you're going to regret are the things that you didn't do, not the things that you did. So make sure you're embracing challenges, looking at them with a growth mindset, saying, hey, I may not know how to do this now, but have the humility. There's a concept I like to coach called humble confidence. And if you have the humility to embrace challenges and say, hey, I may not know how to do this now, but I know that I have the ability to figure it out. You have the confidence in your own ability to figure it out. All right. We're cooking now. So the future TED Talk scenario. Fast forward 20 years, you're delivering a TED Talk that profoundly moves the audience. What is the topic that you're discussing and why is it so impactful? That is such a profound question because it allows you to tap into your purpose, allows you to tap into your future vision, the best part of you. Hey, this is who I am and this is what I want to share with the world. For me, that is exactly what I'm doing with you guys right now. I want to teach you guys the best tactics in order for you to be successful in your lives. I want to empower you to be able to be happy and show up as your best self in everything that you do. Because when you're doing your best, when you're putting forth your best effort, you always feel good about yourself, regardless of the outcome. So think about the last time you did something and you put forth your best effort, but it didn't turn out the way you wanted. You weren't upset with yourself because you know that you put forth your best effort. And that's what you want to do in every aspect of your life is always put forth your best self. And once you know better, you want to do better. Lastly, we're going to go ahead and craft our legacy. This is super powerful. I've written my obituary before, and what it does is it teaches you the character that you would like to build. So we all have, our dreams and aspirations, but for the most part, especially here in America, we are taught to be successful, be wealthy, be competitive, do whatever it takes, grind all day, all night, and try to do whatever it takes to get to the next level. But when you think about, somebody's eulogy, somebody's speech that they give at your funeral, they don't say, oh my gosh, this guy grinded so hard. He was so successful. He built this empire. No, they talk about how you made them feel. They talk about the moments and the memories and the experiences that you guys had together. So what I want you to do here is really tap into the person you want to be remembered as, the character that you showed up into the world with. And were you moral? Were you kind? Were you just? Were you compassionate? Were you considerate? All of these things are so much more important than your material wealth or your success. So be mindful of these things as you're crafting your goals, because for you, your definition of success may be similar to mine, to where it's like, hey, you don't need to make all of this money in order to be happy, but you do want to achieve freedom so that you can spend time with the people that you enjoy spending time with. Finally, we're going to go ahead and set your 2024 goals, right? So we're getting very specific here so that we can actually understand what it is, where we currently are, what needs to happen in order to get to where we're trying to go. So my background is in fitness, so it's always very easy for me to use fitness as an example here. But what we're going to do is go through the whole kind of spectrum here so that you can understand how to set goals in every aspect of your life. And then again, how to actually hold yourself accountable to doing these things. So the first one is going to be learning goals. What knowledge do you seek? Second, we're going to do experiences. What do you wish to witness or experience? Third, we're going to do aspirations. What do you hope to acquire in this time, right? So this is all 2024 goals. Just write down every single thing that comes to mind, right? We're just brain dumping right now because what you want to do is give yourself a lot of different options, a lot of things to shoot for. If you have 1,000 different things written down, then you have 1,000 different things to accomplish. The likelihood of you accomplishing many of those things is much higher because you have 1,000 things written down that you're trying to accomplish. If you only write down 10, you may not be able to get all 10 of those because of the fact that you haven't written down enough things that you want to do. So all of these are very important. And the more that you put down, the more likely it is you're going to accomplish these things. And the more likely it is you're going to buy into this because you're going to start to see all of that progress come much faster than somebody who writes down only a few. Personal growth, what do you aspire to become? Who do you want to become this year? What does your future self look like? Who do they hang out with? Who do they spend their time with? What do they wear? What is their educational level? What are they doing for their career? Really sit down and meditate and think on that. Who do you want to be? Experiments. What new endeavors are you eager to try, right? One of my favorite things is traveling. I want to be super open-minded. I want to experience the world. From a psychological perspective, there's something called the Johari window. And so the first window is what is known to self. and known to others. So all of the things about Austin Santee that I know and that everybody else knows. So now you guys all kind of know, hey, this is Austin Santee. He's been in fitness for a long time. He's got his master's in business. He's got a PhD. One of the things that he loves doing is sharing his wealth and serving others by sharing all of the knowledge that he has accumulated over the years. That is known to self and known to others. Second, there's a box that's known to self and unknown to others. So those are the things that maybe my closest friends know, that my family know, the things that I know about myself that very few other people know about me. A little bit more private requires some self-disclosure. Number three is the box that is unknown to self and unknown to others. Sorry, unknown to self, but known to others. So that box are things that I am unaware of, things that I maybe weaknesses of mine. Oh my gosh, Austin is always late. I don't maybe realize something like that because I just always am late. So that's something my best friends can kind of point out and be like, hey, you're always late. Can we try to fix that so that you're not wasting my time? And so on and so forth. So if you're willing to have the humility and the ability to ask your friends, your closest friends, your family, your boss, hey, how can I be better? It'll help you bolster that third window and actually strengthen some of your weaknesses. And finally, there's a box that's unknown to self and unknown to others. And this is the box that travel unlocks. This is the box that new experiences unlock. We all have untapped potential, unlimited untapped potential. And unless you experience something, you're never going to be able to understand it. So constantly seeking out new opportunities is incredible. One of my best friends has a quote. It's try everything once and twice if you like it. And I think it's a great quote because this world is ours to explore. And if we want to be the best adventurers, then we should try at least everything once. And if you like it, why not do it again? Okay, so I'm going to let you guys kind of finish the rest of these on your own. So we got actions, we have destinations. Where do you want to travel to? You have creations. What do you want to create? What do you want to bring into existence? Contributions. How do you want to impact the world, right? This is my era of contribution. I want to serve. I want to give back. At the same time, I want to understand. I know that I have the humility to know that I know very little. And so I want to lead with curiosity. I want to go into every interaction knowing that I have something to learn from this person. And so I might as well listen more than I speak. And lastly, what obstacles are you ready to conquer? Do you want to do a physical challenge? Do you want to do a mental challenge? One thing that I'm trying to do this year is get on to the Amazing Race with my girlfriend. I think it would be awesome to do the Amazing Race, to get into that competitive environment, to put myself into a challenging situation so that I can overcome an obstacle. So we've already applied for the Amazing Race, and we're hoping to hear back so that we can go on the show and put on our best effort and overcome a challenge. So put down your challenges. What do you want to try to overcome this year? We grow by taking on more challenges. You never know what you're capable of until you try to take on more. So take on more responsibilities and see if you're capable of doing that. All right, so now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of timeline mapping, right? So we want to assign a time frame. How long is this going to take for you to get to each one of these goals? So if you wrote down 1,000, this is going to take you some time. What I would do is narrow it down to the top 20 or so that you want to put a timeline on. So give yourself a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, or 10-year timeline, right? This is a really key component of setting SMART goals. Is it measurable? Is it time bound? So you need to make sure that you are setting something that is realistic, that's measurable and time bound. And so giving yourself a timeline to accomplish these goals is going to be very important. Next, is it concrete, right? Like, are these things tangible and actionable, right? So instead of saying, hey, I will travel to Europe, put, I will fly to Europe for a study abroad trip next summer, so that I can travel around for 8 weeks, right? Like you now have made it very specific, very measurable, very attainable, very realistic, and you've given it a time bound there. So make sure that all of those are concrete goals that are tangible and you can take action towards every single day. So I'm going to make this very simple for you guys as far as how to break these down even farther. For me, there are 4 pillars that you want to focus on. It's going to be your personal and your health. So that's kind of one pillar. So, activities like fitness, like exercise, sports, yoga, meditation, like all of your mental health and your personal development, self-improvement, reading, writing, right? So, the path to self-actualization is through writing and reflecting. And so I was telling you guys earlier about how to recognize patterns. Writing is one of the best ways to recognize patterns. And if you can write down things that have continually happened in your life, recognize that pattern, then you can see that pattern and you can actually start making an active, intentional choice to do something different, to respond differently. And that's how growth happens. So what I want you to do then is go ahead and rank these on level of importance. So what you're going to do is say, hey, physical personal health is a 7 out of 10 for me, or it's a 10 out of 10. Like, this is very important for me this year. And then as far as satisfaction goes, you're going to rank these like, hey, how satisfied, how good does it make me feel when I work on these things? So for me, personal health is one of my pillars. It's one of the most important things in my life. So I make sure that I train very hard and very consistently, and it brings me a lot of joy, right? The physical benefits are incredible, but the mental health benefits of working out are why I really do it and why I continue to go back, because I don't feel like myself unless I'm working out. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about your work and your education. So your current job, your career aspirations, your work-life balance, your continued education and learning, right? Like, the way that we grow is through change. And so if you want to continue to grow, continue to elevate in your life, then you need to embrace change. You need to be able to handle uncertainty, and you need to remain calm in any situation that requires that. So continuing education is very important, especially the fact that we're transitioning into a whole new technological world. We're going to need new skills, we're going to need new training, and you're going to continue to have to hone in on these soft skills. So again, rank these on levels of importance. Next, we're going to talk about wealth and finances. We're going to go ahead and get into your financial planning and your wealth management. This is something that is very significant for me this year. I really want to get on top of these things because you have to start planning for retirement. You have to understand that it's very important to have a budget and to save and to invest and to have a safety net in case something happens, because all of us have seen what's happened with the economy over the last few years. And it's very important for you to be prepared in case something bad does happen. Not saying that anything will, or, knock on whatever I can. But it does happen. And the more prepared you are for any of these situations, the more likely it is that you will be calm and you will be collected and you will be able to remain in control of your life when these things go wrong. And, saving and investing for your future and for your retirement is something that all of us should prioritize. And honestly, we should be taught in school. But taking taking some time to actually create these systems in your life will benefit you now and far into the future. Finally, we're going to talk about relationships and community. So this is a huge pillar, right? If we, all of our problems are interpersonal problems. If nobody else in the world existed, we would have zero problems, but we would be very lonely. We'd be wandering the earth all by ourselves. So similarly, all of our joy comes from interpersonal relationships, right? If you didn't have your best friend to share the news with when you got a job promotion, or when you graduated and had all your family there, or at your birthday party to have all of your friends to celebrate, then you would probably be very lonely and very sad, because we want to share our lives with others. We want to share these experiences with others. So understanding the significance of relationships is super important. And more than ever, with the rise of social media and the rise of technology, I think that creating and cultivating these deep, meaningful connections in person is going to be super important, not only for our joy and happiness, but also for our mental health and well-being, because the quality of your relationships will tell you the quality of your life. So again, rank importance rating here and satisfaction. And then what you're going to do is identify the areas of importance where these satisfaction ratings and where they align, right? These are the areas you're likely thriving in. So for me, it's fitness, and it's continuing education, it's relationships. The one area that I continue to want to work on and bolster is the finances and the wealth management. So that's been my priority this year. Then you want to note areas where you're satisfied, but they don't seem that important to you, because that's where you probably should be allocating more time to. And then pay special attention to areas that are important, but you have low satisfaction areas, because these areas are key for development and focus. So this assessment provides a great starting point for you to understand what aspects of your life contribute to your sense of fulfillment and your sense of meaning, and then where you should put your focus to actually achieve a more balanced and enriching life. Next, we're going to kind of go ahead and talk about all of your goals, creating those SMART goals, and then what I want you to do is exhibit best practices. So the importance here is having that SMART goal. And then what you need to understand is that in order to accomplish these goals, you have to have systems in place that help you accomplish them. So my favorite books on this are Atomic Habits and then Eat the Frog by Brian Tracy. So once you have your goals, you want to get some sort of journal, some sort of system that you create and write in. So here's my journal here. You're going to write down your goals. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your top 3 goals that you want to work on, and you're going to start putting those into your calendar. So you're literally going to take them and put them into your calendar. You're going to say, hey, this is when this is due. You're going to break them down into actionable items. And so if your goal is to lose 30 pounds in 1 year in 2024, then you're going to say, hey, in order to lose 30 pounds by the end of 2024, I need to work out at least 4 to 5 times per week. So I'm going to put in my calendar that I'm going to work out every single day when I get off of work, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. And you write that down and it becomes non-negotiable in your calendar. Then you're going to say, hey, I also should probably start eating better. So you're going to say, hey, I'm going to sign up for a meal prep company and they're going to send me meals every single week so that I can't mess this up. They're going to show up. I'm going to eat these meals that are going to help me lose this 30 pounds by the end of the year. For me, with my financial goals this year, I said, hey, I'm going to set a budget and I'm going to actually stick to it. So what I've done is I've automated everything. I'm making sure that only 30 to 40% of my income goes to my rent. Another 20 to 30% goes to needs. 20% goes to wants, things that I want to do. And then the last 20% gets divvied up between my savings and my investments. And it's automated, so I cannot mess it up. It just automatically leaves my account and I can't touch it. So it really helps to have these systems in place, and you actually have to put this on the calendar in order to accomplish them, right? Writing the goals down are one thing, but breaking them down into actionable items and then putting them on your calendar is what's necessary in order for you to accomplish them. And so I take it as far as writing them down every single day, writing them down every single day. And then what I do is I write my top 3 priorities for the day. And the first one is my frog. It's my ugliest, stickiest task that needs to get done no matter what. And that'll be the first thing that I work on when I wake up so that I can get the hardest part of my day out of the way. And then I cross that off. And when I cross that off, I get a feeling of accomplishment. I get a dopamine hit from accomplishing a task. And then it helps give me motivation and inspiration to finish the rest of them. I take it a step farther by sending a photo of those 3 priorities to my accountability partner. My accountability partner then will send hers back to me, and we hold each other accountable to actually doing what we say we're going to do. At the end of the night, we check in with one another and we say, hey, I went 2 for 3 today. I messed up on getting one of these things done. I'm going to prioritize it tomorrow by making it my frog and ensuring that it does get done, because this is important. It's a part of me reaching my 2024 goals. So those are all the best practices that I've kind of utilized in my life. I hope that some of them were helpful for you guys. If you guys would like access to this Google Doc, then I can go ahead and share that with you. Send me an email, follow me, austinsantee.com. If you're interested in doing some more one-on-one work with me to help hold yourself accountable, to set really actionable goals, to overcome some of the challenges you're dealing with in your life, then feel free to hit me up. Go to my website, austinsantee.com, and we'll get you set up. We'll jump on a call and I'll see if I can help you guys out. If not, it'd just be great to connect with you guys. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will talk next time.